It's a frantic time for Formula One. A week on from the thrills of Monaco, off we go again to Germany's Nürburgring for the European Grand Prix. Hello there. When you've just lost your unbeaten record in the tunnel in Monte Carlo, it's nice to come home, see your pals, acknowledge your adoring fans and try and get back in the winning habit. In qualifying, Michael Schumacher shows once again he is still very much the ringmaster. Monaco hero Jarno Trulli has a problem. His voice has gone, but he still finds a way to make himself clear. The Italian, fresh from his first pole and that first win, knows this circuit doesn't suit the Renault, but that's another excellent qualifying lap. Jenson Button followed him home in Monte Carlo. His BAR was quickest in both Saturday morning practices, but when it really matters, he struggles for grip. At least there are genuine overtaking opportunities at this racetrack. Michael Schumacher and Ferrari are taking care of business in the aftermath of the death of Fiat chairman Umberto Agnelli. It's a perfect lap, a good half a second quicker than his nearest challenger. That turns out to be Takuma Sato in the second BAR, last to go in the session and doing enough to become the first Japanese driver ever to start a Grand Prix from the front row. Some achievement. So it's fifth pole out of 7 for Herr Schumacher. Best yet for Sato, who brushed the world champion aside at the start in Monaco. Trulli again out-qualifies Renault teammate Alonso. 4th is Raikkonen's best of the season, Button starting 5th. Montoya 8th, last year's winner Ralf Schumacher 9th. That's a disappointing first qualifying for Williams' new technical director Sam Michael. Panis making the top 10 for the Cologne-based Toyota team. Klean's Jaguar starting in front of Webber. The Australian was penalised a second for failing to slow down when yellow flags waved in practice. The German, Heidfeld, 13th. That's Jordan's best of the year. The last 4 are all demoted after changing engines. Coulthard and Fisichella, both in a very unusual position. Enjoy the very best of the European Grand Prix. It's race 7 in F1 2004 with Martin Brundle and James Allen.
Round 7 of the 18-round championship begins now. Cracking start by Sato. Trulli's going well also. Michael Schumacher has to go defensive. He takes the pit lane side. That's chopped Trulli. He can't do anything about it. And Schumacher's kept his position. And look at Sato up the inside of Trulli. He goes very, very deep. Almost hits Schumacher. And Raikkonen looking very racy as well. He's on the outside of Trulli. Those two, and there's Ralf Schumacher gone off. Connected with D'Amato, it looks like.
Yes, they tripped over each other on the outside of turn 1 as Trulli begins to have a look on the inside of Sato out of our view. And Sato ran wide. It's Raikkonen up into second place then. There's Trulli. Sato having a nightmare in turn 3 and 4.
Yeah, it looks like the Renault and the BAR got caught up there. Side-by-side action on the opening lap here, and we believe that Juan Montoya has broken his front wing from 8th on the grid, so both Williams drivers in trouble. Here we see from Montoya, look.
Yes, he locked his front wing up, and he was the one that tapped, yes, both Williams into each other then. It's no good putting your hand up, it's your fault, Juan Pablo. He tapped Ralf into the spin, and Ralf then collected the Toyota of D'Amato. So we have Michael Schumacher from Raikkonen, Alonso, Sato, Barrichello, Button, Trulli down in 7th place, Panis clean, and Coulthard from 20th to 10.
Yeah, I think what happened, Martin, is that Trulli and Sato got together. You saw a big cloud of dust. The two of them sort of went off the track, and the Renault that jumped through was that of Fernando Alonso, now up into 3rd place then, behind the McLaren of Kimi Raikkonen. And what an opening lap for Michael Schumacher, a dream start for him. Williams are ready to replace the nose cone of Juan Pablo Montoya.
He could also have some front suspension damage because he did connect with Ralf wheel to wheel. He might get away with that one. They'll change the nose first. There we go. No other benefits of a pit stop so early. There's no point fueling it really. They will put some in and try to repair some of this damage in terms of track time lost. And the nose, of course, they have to lift the car up with the nose on the front jack. That's disappeared. They have to find another way of getting the nose up in the air. Michael Schumacher free and clear, 2.4 seconds in the lead.
Two guys going to be really ecstatic about the way this race has started. Michael Schumacher, just what he needed. Clear air now. He can put his foot down. What about David Coulthard, though? Up from 20th on the grid to 9th in a single lap. That is a position from which to seriously challenge for points this afternoon.
Yes, it's certainly looking good for McLaren. Second with Raikkonen, 9th now for Coulthard. Montoya pitted, and The lead was at 2.4 seconds. There's Raikkonen comfortably second. Alonso, Sato, Barrichello, Button. Barrichello doing quite nicely on that first lap too. Hopefully we'll see a replay. It looked to me as if as soon as Montoya turned the wheel, so you're asking the front tyres to brake and turn, he just locked the pair of them up and slid into the side of Ralph.
Very scruffy start indeed. Schumacher leads then at the end of lap 2. Raikkonen second. The margin was 2.4 seconds at the end of the first lap. He's added another 1.4 to that. It's almost 4 seconds now between Michael Schumacher and Raikkonen. Alonso third, Sato fourth, fifth Barrichello, sixth Jenson Button, seventh Jarno Trulli, and eighth Olivier Panis. Coulthard still in ninth place. And Button then a loser at the start. He went from fifth down to sixth, and that certainly wasn't in his game plan.
Coulthard will be in good shape. He'll have more fuel on board. They nominated the spare car with a decent fuel level in it to fix that. Renominated the race car. All highly complex yesterday afternoon to make the best of the qualifying regulations. So Coulthard then in very good shape at the moment. Michael Schumacher at the front. He knows he's got to get on with it because we're absolutely sure he's low on fuel. And Michael went to cover his base very well. One move across the track, entirely fair and reasonable behind him. Sato then comes in deep, squeezes Trulli to the outside for second and third. There are the two Williams getting together and the Toyota being bundled out by the hapless Ralph. We're on board now. Look, he turned the wheel and braked, and inevitably he just simply locked the front, and he's going to put his hand up in the air now and blame somebody, but it's all your fault, JPM. You cannot blame that on anybody else. He locked his front wheels. There was a Toyota steaming up the inside of him. Panis, who got away with it nicely.
Cristiano, you must be absolutely livid.
Yeah, the worst thing that can happen to you when you come to a race is when you don't race. So basically today I basically didn't race. Didn't exactly understood what happened into Ralph's mind when he just suddenly all of a sharp turned left right into me. So I don't know what happened there.
I think, to be fair, he didn't really have much option because his teammate had pushed him into you. So, but I don't suppose that makes it any better for you.
But that was after he touched. Then he just sharply turned left. He could have kept straight. He wasn't going to hit me. Probably didn't see me.
Thanks, Cristiano.
That's bad luck for him.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Cristiano de Mata in the Toyota. His teammate Olivier Panis is currently 8th. We ride on board with Alonso in 3rd place at the moment. And that's the Renault timing stand. Flavio Briatore there, just talking to the Michelin technician. Schumacher leading by 14 seconds now after 6 laps from Kimi Raikkonen. Schumacher lapping almost 3 seconds a lap faster than the people in the pursuing pack. That's it's a lot about Michael Schumacher. It's a lot about the Bridgestone tyre in the early phase of the Grand Prix. It's a lot about the fuel load that Schumacher is carrying, because if we're right about his race strategy, he's going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, the problem is he's going so fast, James, that the others must be carrying about 100 kilos of fuel more than him, which we know not to be correct. They're being tucked up behind Kimi Raikkonen. Both McLarens with very poor pace at this stage of the Grand Prix. We know from qualifying 1 yesterday the track did get incredibly slippery after the support races, and the only man who can find any grip out there, almost as if he's on a different day and a different racetrack, is Michael Schumacher. You can see with the direction change of the car, he's got grip. He's doing 1 minute 29s. Everybody else is doing 1 minute 32s.
Do you remember Hungary last year, where Alonso made the break at the start and Mark Webber was second and held everybody up for the opening stint of the Grand Prix? Well, you're seeing a bit of a replay of that here. Michael Schumacher able to drive away then, with Raikkonen holding the cars up behind it. And Mike Gascoigne is joining us from the Toyota timing stand. Mike, it's a dream start for Michael Schumacher, but what do you make of the pace, the 3 seconds a lap slower of Raikkonen than the rest?
Yeah, I mean, obviously scampering away, and I think that's that, unfortunately. But obviously we're disappointed in the start with Cristiano. He just got caught up in that. But Olivier's struggling a little bit with the pace with the group in front. I think Raikkonen's managing to hold them up for us. But we're just getting ready for the first stops coming up in a couple of laps.
So you've got one car out of the race, Panis up to 8th. What can you... anything you'll change at this stage, or have you just got to stick with it at the moment, Mike?
I think from our point of view, we're going to stick with it. Obviously, the one we're looking at is Coulthard behind us, who's going to be doing 2 stops. So that's the one we've got to try and hold. I think the group behind that isn't a problem for us. It's just we're going to be trying to race David for that last point.
race leader into the pits, as we predicted early on lap 9.
So, a good quick stop then for Michael will get him out somewhere in the middle of the pack. Doesn't look like a particularly quick stop. A lot of fuel going in, away in 8.3. And the pack are going past now, so he will come out in traffic there. You can see it for yourself. That group of cars from Raikkonen down to Trulli, 2nd to 7th, have all got in front of Michael. But that just shows you the incredible pace he had. He's made a pit stop and come out right behind them. He will have a big smile on his face underneath that crash helmet. Behind then, Panis in a lonely 8th, Coulthard are watching 9th.
Yeah, it's worked out very well indeed for Michael Schumacher, and I think Ross Brawn, the Ferrari strategist, has been allowed to put a bit more fuel in there than he perhaps would have otherwise thought. He's put, if that time is right for the pit stop, he's put 22 laps worth of fuel in that car, where a normal three-stopper at this stage would be putting about 16 laps of fuel into the car. So Ferrari going a longer middle stint than would normally be predicted, and Michael Schumacher can sit now and enjoy it as all these guys held up by Raikkonen in front of him don't break away from him, and then one by one peel into the pit lane for their stops, and he reassumes the lead.
Well, they'll be mighty pleased to see Raikkonen pit, I think. Although it has to be said, none of the Michelin runners have got any serious pace. Schumacher behind them, fresh tyres, but quite a load of fuel. Will now see for himself just where they're struggling. Whatever, the Michelin tyres are not biting into this racetrack. The pace is very slow. Raikkonen will peel right now at the last moment into that tight pit entry, and this is the chance then for Alonso, Sato, Barrichello and Button and Trulli to get on with it. No, we've got another pitter at the back there. Ted is down there.
Yes, Raikkonen pits. I believe Jarno Trulli is coming into the pits as well. Yes, he is. It's a shame that these two weren't together on track, because then we'd have a nice old rumble amongst the mechanics. No problems with either stop. There we go, Kimi Raikkonen away. A little problem on the right rear with Trulli, but he's also off. Very similar timed stops.
Two people we need to keep an eye on then. Certainly one of them at the moment is Rubens Barrichello. If we're right that he was carrying considerably more fuel than his teammate Michael Schumacher. He starts to come into play now. At the moment, Alonso leads from Sato 2nd and Barrichello in 3rd, with Button 4th for BAR. All 4 of those men have to make a pit stop. But if Barrichello's carrying more fuel, he starts to become a serious factor, as missing the chicane there is David Coulthard. Oh no, not again. Kimi Raikkonen. Another, what looks like some sort of failure, possibly of the engine or the transmission, and it looks like yet another retirement for him as we look at the race leader, as was Fernando Alonso coming into the pits. Also the Toyota there coming into the pits of Olivier Panis. D'Amata out of the Grand Prix, remember, and that's rotten luck for Kimi Raikkonen. Leading the Grand Prix at the moment though is Takuma Sato.
So his first lap's leading a race then surely for Sato. Panis leaves his pit stop. He was running 6th at the time, a net, and there's Raikkonen out of the car then, looks almost certain to be engine related. Incredible. 1 World Championship point, there it goes, bang, as they head up there to the pit curve at the top of the hill. Raikkonen with a significant problem in the engine department, and out of the Grand Prix it goes. 1 point in 6 races.
7. This is round 7, and it's 5 retirements, 2 Grand Prix finishes, of which 1's yielded a point. And Louise is with Ralf Schumacher.
Cristiano, we've just been chatting to him. He seems a bit aggrieved, felt that you could have avoided him at the end of that incident.
Well, I was just passenger. One ran into the back of mine, into the front of mine. I was just there. What should I do? I mean, you know, I didn't even see Cristiano. Sorry for that, obviously. But, you know, that's he's a victim of the incident. Sorry.
Thanks, Ralph.
It's very easy for us. Jenson Button pitting then from what was 4th. It's very easy from this high level to see that he quite clearly accelerated and drove over a helpless D'Amata. But with these high cockpit sides, they cannot see anything past about 30-degree angle on either side of straight ahead. One of the downsides of the new safety aspects of the head protection, the drivers do not know what's beside them.
Button rejoining then in 6th place, ahead of Heidfeld and Alonso. That's the battle for 7th. Takuma Sato, his teammate at BAR, still leading the Grand Prix, ahead of Rubens Barrichello in the Ferrari, yet to make a stop, either of those 2 men. And look how the pace has picked up now that Raikkonen's out of the way.
Sato pits then Sato in the pits, he's been lapping very quickly. Surely he's going to come out in a comfortable second place with Raikkonen out of the Grand Prix anyway. Sato's gone the furthest, been lapping very quickly. If he can get back out without too much traffic, I think he'll be the new clear and comfortable second place man.
Ultimately, I'm sure he will. At the moment, of course, Rubens Barrichello, we don't know how long he's going to go for, do we? He's set his fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, 1:30.446. He is the race leader at the moment as Sato blends back in front of David Coulthard. That's significant for him, because we know that Coulthard's going to run quite a long first stint here, so that's an important milestone pass there for Takuma Sato.
New leader then, Rubens Barrichello, yet to stop. We haven't seen Barrichello, Coulthard, Klein, Button has stopped, Heidfeld, Alonso has stopped too, Webber not stopped yet in the Jaguar, currently 9th. So completely different strategies out there this afternoon.
Nick Heidfeld makes a pit stop. Jordan's strongest performance, really, you'd have to say, so far of the season, although they got some points in the end in Monte Carlo. It was largely through attrition, but here they've been running in 7th place on merit. And just a moment ago, this is Fernando Alonso.
Yes, just failing to turn in to turn 4, running very wide, losing a lot of track time, and crucially, also you'll just see his teammate flashing past his right-hand side. Alonso way down in 11th place at the moment, as we see Rubens Barrichello pitting from the lead. Important moments, because now it's a straight fight, as far as I'm concerned, between Barrichello and Sato for second place. Michael's gone into the distance, and we're back with Mike Gascoigne. Mike, we're watching Rubens Barrichello pit. Will you have been down to talk to Williams or Ralf Schumacher about that incident? Somebody from your team?
I don't think it's a good time for anyone from our team to talk to Ralph at the moment, given all the rumours, but no, it's happened and it's over. We're concentrating on the race, so it's just one of those things.
And so it's Michael Schumacher from Sato, Barrichello, Coulthard, Button. Webber was 6th. Fisichella will now take that place, although I saw Sauber waiting for a driver too. That was Massa pitting. There you see it now. And truly 8th, Alonso 9th. Where have the Renaults gone? Ted is in the pits.
Yeah, I just saw Mark Webber come by as he went to his pit stop. Rear tyres in such a state. Jaguar have been really suffering this weekend with the wear on those rear Michelins.
Yeah, I think they're sliding around a lot on the track, and one thing that wears your tyres out is not corner speeds and the car working well. It's when your tyres are sliding and spinning is when you get the highest wear rate. So I think it just confirms what we can see quite easily from the times and watching the cars on the track. The Michelins are not working at all nicely, although Sato's still up there in second place.
Wow, that was a moment for Montoya, a real moment there, going into turn 6 for Juan Montoya. And he's got Klein in the Jaguar right behind him. They're 12th and 13th at the moment. So, well, it's all happening here at the Nürburgring, but not for Michael Schumacher, who looks pretty serene and comfortable. But a terrific nail-biting scrap between Sato, Barrichello, Coulthard and Button for the final podium positions this afternoon. And here's another look at the Montoya getting very out of shape in turn 6.
That was save of the day, wasn't it? Incredible there from Montoya. He's pretty acrobatic in those sort of circumstances, and I tell you, he really hung on to that one very, very well. Button is now 2.5 seconds clear of Coulthard. That was an important move for him. Montoya just being mercilessly challenged by Webber. Just no grip at all in that Williams. What on earth have they done to the setup of that thing?
I don't know, I really don't know. It's extraordinary. Williams really struggling at the moment. There's another look at how Button got past Coulthard into turn 1, deep on the brakes, and through you go. Very nice. Nice move. Coulthard on the inside.
Yeah, good move there. Lucky that DC didn't just tag his right rear, but a very good move. Fresher tyres, made a recent pit stop, and now they're getting ready for Coulthard. He was at the end of that stint, and but a very, very nice move there from Jenson Button.
Coulthard comes in then from what was 5th place behind Jenson Button. And into his box he goes. Be glad to see a new set of Michelin tyres, I'd imagine. They're not lasting very well here this afternoon. So although the fuel strategy was right in terms of going long in the first stint, the tyres really not happy with it.
So it really is Ferrari, BAR in a class of their own. McLaren with no apparent pace, Montoya with very poor pace, and where have the Renaults gone? 6th and 7th at the moment. They'll head up to 5th and 6th any minute now when Fisichella does finally stop. That is the Toyota of Panis, so he will drop behind Coulthard, Webber and co. And another man just about to be lapped by the world champion who gets run clean off the road because he didn't know he was there.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I think Panis will be a little bit embarrassed when he gets home and watches the highlights and sees that one. Michael Schumacher not taking any chances, keeping well out of his way and running wide off the racing line so as not to have any part of his car knocked off. Well, Ted's down in the pits. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm down at Toyota. I tell you why Panis was so racy there, because he's going to come under pressure from Montoya anytime soon. Those two are racing each other, Montoya and Panis. Let's see what happens.
Well, they're not in the top 10 if they're going to be racing, that's for sure. And but you're absolutely right to say they are really squabbling amongst themselves, but way out of the picture. And there is what Ted was talking about. There is the Panis-Montoya fight. Montoya ready to have a go straight away. That's when you got to do it. Catch the other driver unawares. If you settle in behind him, he gets comfortable, you get uncomfortable and slow, and the element of surprise has gone. And this is presumably why Panis lost so much time. We move right to the outside at the Dunlop hairpin, letting Michael through, and that's what allowed Montoya rather, to come straight at him.
Well, we saw Montoya, didn't we, passing Rubens Barrichello into the first corner at Monaco. He's done another lovely move here as into the VAR garage comes Jenson Button. Mike Gascoigne's with us again. You're having a good scrap here with Coulthard, aren't you?
Yeah, but unfortunately we bought Olivier's stop forward to counter Montoya. When he came in, he's quicker than us, so we had 4 seconds, but unfortunately having to let Michael past, I think he might have picked up some dirt on the tyres and he's lost the position, so that's not really worked for us.
When I first got into Formula One, Ken Tyrrell used to make me drive 2.5 hours each way from my home to the factory and show me all my ins and out laps and when I was lapped by another car and why did you lose that amount of time? Do you know how many tens of thousands of pounds I've got to spend to gain that time back? Mike, will you be talking to Panis to say, hey, you've got to get these out laps better than that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he had 4 seconds on him, although there was Michael there. His tyres are fresh. He ought to be able to defend that position.
Yeah, you've got to find a way to release him without losing so much time himself, but I guess the blue flag rule puts him under pressure to scamper out of the way, doesn't it? So yeah. Now you're fighting Montoya, you think, rather than Coulthard. Yeah,
well, we've lost that place to Montoya, who's passed us, so yeah, we just have to see how it pans out with the tyre degradation. For us, we tend to suffer more with the tyre wear, lack of grip on the car from the aerodynamics, and we struggle for race pace. So I think we're always going to struggle to hold Coulthard and Montoya.
Thanks for talking to us, Mike. Takuma Sato then pits from 2nd place in the Grand Prix. He will have dropped back behind Rubens Barrichello once again. This kind of concertina effect. Sato making 1 stop more than Barrichello this afternoon. He had 11.3 seconds in his pocket critically before he made his 2nd stop. He's going to need to have a lot more than that in the next phase of the Grand Prix if he's going to beat Barrichello when he makes his 3rd stop. Coulthard engine failure from the looks of things, smoke coming out the back, possibly a drive shaft, possibly transmission, and very sensibly parking it near to the marshals.
Dark days for McLaren then, and there you see him coasting around the outside. Again, you'd have to say that's an engine failure, looking at that one, unless it's hydraulic fluid or something leaking out onto that exhaust. Bang. But Ted is down at McLaren with some news.
Oh, bitter disappointment down here. The mechanics, they've worked so hard, these McLaren mechanics. They know they're in a dodgy situation, but they work so hard, just as hard as they ever have done. They throw their helmets down on the ground. If that is engine, then it's McLaren's 3rd engine failure this weekend.
The Ferrari mechanics coming out as Kimi Räikkönen says goodbye to the team. Gianno Trulli is up into 4th place. He has yet to make his 2nd stop of the afternoon. So has Fernando Alonso, who's behind him in 5th. As Michael Schumacher comes in for his 2nd stop.
End of lap 28 then. Schumacher, no need to rush, everything under control. Out comes just about the fueler, a little bit sticky there. Cost him a 0.5 second, but he's got more than a 0.5 second easily to Spake and throw a few more of those away if he wants to. Absolutely easy for him this afternoon. The main fight then is Barrichello and Sato, and the Renaults are sort of in there somewhere. Really expected better pace from them. Button losing out quite heavily when he was in the fight with David Coulthard. Coulthard now out of the Grand Prix. DC says, I've met an awful lot of nice marshals this year. He certainly has. We've seen him pushing the car more than we've seen him driving it, but they're a mighty organisation, McLaren, and you just know they will sort it out. It's a question of when.
Look at this, Montoya through the middle, lapping traffic. He is up behind Clean in the Jaguar. This is a battle for position. Montoya's already lost his front wing once in this Grand Prix and making a recovery. He's absolutely raging, isn't he? This is great stuff from Montoya. Oh, don't cut away from it. Come on, that's it. There we go. Go on, down the inside he goes. Is he going to get through? This is not a conventional passing place, but Montoya is not a respecter of convention. He's having a real go at Christian Klein, and in a very, very racy mood today. He's clearly faster. Klein tries to chop him. They come very, very close to touching into the chicane. Montoya has to yield, but he's not going to give up for long. He's going to have a go here as well into the final corner. He's got it this time. Wonderful, dogged racing by Juan Montoya.
Nobody ever showed Juan Pablo Montoya the textbook way to overtake. They're totally unorthodox, absolutely outrageous. Never was he really in the right place at the right time, and still he's made it stick. So good move there from Montoya, and Massa takes a bit of time and passes Klein too, while Klein's on his back foot. So heavily punished then, the young Austrian on that lap. So Renault then getting ready for what must be Alonso for his second stop.
Yep, Alonso currently running in 4th place in this Grand Prix, 16 seconds behind the final podium position man Takuma Sato, who has dropped behind Rubens Barrichello as a result of Sato making the second stop of the afternoon. Barrichello on a different strategy, remember. Those two racing for second place here this afternoon. The two Renaults went a little anonymous, didn't they, after a good start. Alonso was up in 3rd place, but dropped down. So strangely wide in one of the corners, 6.7 on the stop. Nice, quick, slick stop from Renault, but it's not been a vintage afternoon for the team that won last week in Monte Carlo. As Heidfeld makes his second stop of the afternoon from 9th place, and rejoining in the middle of quite a scrum there, in which the race leader Michael Schumacher is trying to get past Panis. That's a scrap position between Heidfeld and Panis. Panis was in 12th place, and Heidfeld has snatched it off him. So Panis seeing a lot of people going past him this afternoon.
So it's Ferrari 1-2, BAR 3-4, Renault 5-6 at the moment, as Rubens Barrichello spoils that nice 2x2 by pitting.
Yeah, he made his first stop on lap 15, Barrichello, and this is exactly when we predicted he would come in, lap 39. An important stop here for Barrichello. He's lost second place for the moment to Takuma Sato, but he will not need to make another stop for the rest of the afternoon, so he will be going through to the finish. 22 more laps for him, and now the challenge for Sato is to build enough of a margin over Barrichello that he can afford to make his 3rd stop of the afternoon and still rejoin in front. Now this is another man who can play a role here as well. This is Jenson Button, Sato's teammate, and they probably rather hoped that Barrichello would come out behind Button, but certainly they need Button to challenge Barrichello now. Yeah,
bad news for Jenson. It's just what he didn't need there. He had a half a chance of getting in front of Barrichello at this stage of the Grand Prix. But Ted is down in the pits with some more news.
That's right, but absolute elation and relief on the Ferrari timing stand. Their Rubens Barrichello race would have been sunk if Jenson had come out in front of him.
This then will be Michael's final stop. Michael Schumacher then, at the end of lap 44, is now pitting.
Yeah, he's likely to lose the lead to Takuma Sato, who's just 18 seconds behind him, but it's only a matter of time before Sato has to make his 3rd stop of the afternoon, so it shouldn't affect Schumacher's race too much. In he comes, but Sato really in a scrap with Rubens Barrichello, 21 seconds ahead at the moment, and there is, I believe, Takuma Sato, is it? Coming into the pits. There's the Ferrari leaving the pits at the moment, and speeding out. Yes, it is Sato. So this is a critical moment now in the Grand Prix. Can Sato get second place? He's 21 seconds ahead of Barrichello before he made a stop. We don't know how good his in-lap was, but Ted, how's the pit stop?
Yes, let's see if they have any problems. It was a bit sticky going on the fuel hose. I think Sato surprised his mechanics slightly. That's a good stop. Is it enough?
Yes, here comes Barrichello down the pit straight then. It's going to be very close, but Barrichello holds second place. Sato will hate to see the rear wing of that Ferrari, and now he's got to chase him like crazy. So that is a shame. I really thought he'd done enough to get in front, didn't you? It's difficult to know exactly where he lost out there, but bad news for Sato, but it's race on, game on.
Well, he's going to have to do it on the racetrack now, isn't he, rather than in the pit lane, as Trulli makes his stop from 5th place. Rotten luck for Takuma Sato.
I think Sato has got a better pace than Barrichello. I don't know if you agree, Mike, and I think there's no doubt about it. Is that we're just watching, I think, Sato probably letting Button through. Button out of sync, he's some way behind, yet to stop again, but Sato has got a shot at overtaking Rubens, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, really he needs to get up to him in 2 or 3 laps. I mean...
Well, he's going for it now. Side by side they touch. Certainly part of one of the 2 cars has been knocked off. I wonder whether that's the BAR or the Ferrari, but Sato is through as Button makes his stop.
That was a bit of a reckless move there from Sato. I think he's hurt his car, but we'll have to wait to see whose bits and pieces there was flying off. But it was a bit of a late run down the inside there from Takuma Sato. We've seen him lock a wheel on his outlap. He's just suddenly got a little bit scruffy. And yes, Sato cruising around the outside of the Ford curves. Here we go, too far behind. No wonder it surprised Rubens, because look, just way too far behind. He's broken his front wing, almost certainly damaged his front suspension. That was reckless.
Well, that's always the charge that's been levelled at Takuma Sato, that perhaps he gets a little bit impatient, tenses up a little bit. Today was such an important day for him to show that he has the maturity and the patience to drive through to a podium finish. Doesn't look like he's going to get one now, though, does it? Rubens Barrichello, is his car damaged and all of that, I wonder? OK, Sato then changing his front wing. You can see the impacts that slightly knocked the bolts there. Ted, you down there?
Yeah, an insult to injury. They were very slow getting the new nose on. Oh, it's all gone wrong. So wrong for Takuma Sato and BAR. Tough luck for them.
Out he goes then to rejoin. He's going to feed back there in front of or alongside the Renault. Let's hope later these 2 don't collide. Fernando Alonso, there's the bits of the BAR left from behind that incident. Sato rejoins then in 6th place. Schumacher leading Barrichello at the moment, with Button on for another podium in 3rd place. Incident involving car number 19, Giorgio Pantano in the Jordan, is being investigated by the stewards, and he will get a drive-through time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Whoa! And one of the BARs has blown up
Sato
on the pit straight. It's Takuma Sato. So the lengthy pit stop obviously did for the Honda engine there.
Yeah, they're going to have to... another trail of smoke is right outside our window here, so it's not going to be a big problem. Off the racing line, on the pit straight. Smoke clearing quickly. It's quite windy here today. Car gently on fire.
Poor old Takuma Sato. 2nd Grand Prix in succession. A smoke haze across the racetrack. In Monaco, it was very dangerous. Here, not so dangerous. There's a strong breeze down the pit straight and a nice wide racetrack to disperse that smoke. But the net result is the same. Sato out of the Grand Prix, but he'd already blotted his copybook by then, hadn't he?
Yeah, he'd gone back in 5th place, so he was still in with a chance of some serious points, and coming out of the last corner, boom, off it goes, and he did the sensible thing, getting off the racing line. But that's exactly what we saw last weekend. Five retirees then, 3 of them, so I can see, ready to go in park firmly outside the window here. Sato and the 2 McLarens have been recovered back into the beginning of the pit lane. Panis still pushing in 11th, lapping the Minardi, and out on the track somewhere down at turn 1, presumably, is Ralf Schumacher's Williams and D'Amata's Toyota. Another 5 that are not running. 3 technical failures and an accident between Ralf Schumacher and D'Amata Michael Schumacher's lead up to 21.7 seconds now. Button just 5.5 behind Barrichello. Not enough time to do anything about it.
Probably not. We saw a dramatic finish last week at Monaco as Button chased down Trulli for the win. Once again, he's a man in the news, a man making the headlines, Jenson Button. It's a very, very strong season for him with the BAR Honda team. They all rue that mistake of Takuma Sato's that knocked off his front wing and took him out of contention for a podium finish here this afternoon. But what's your conclusion that you draw from that, Martin, from the performance of Sato here this afternoon? I mean, he's shown his compulsive side again by making a rash move for a pass, but a very solid drive before that. What's the headmaster's verdict?
Yeah, I've still got him penciled in as driver of the day, actually, after thinking some more about it. You know, I think he really did put in a great performance. His front row slot yesterday was excellent. The qualifying time of 1 minute 27.6 was just amazing. He's driven very sensibly, apart from one tiny error, as the Sauber of Massa there is lapping the Jaguar. But yeah, I still think it's an important, it's a new threshold for Takuma Sato this weekend.
Incident involving car 15, Christian Klein. He's under investigation by the stewards. That could be for speeding in the pit lane. We saw Giorgio Pantano earlier on, the Jordan team being given a drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane on one of his stops. So we'll wait and see from race control exactly what that was all about. Klein in 12th place at the moment as Michael Schumacher goes through to begin his final lap then of the European Grand Prix, a race he has won 4 times in the past. And on home soil, Germany's only Formula One, or Germany's only sporting international superstar, as I was saying earlier on, has certainly delivered exactly what this 100,000 crowd here this afternoon came to see, and that is domination. They love a winner in this country. There's Rubens Barrichello, just making his way through turn 1, and there is Jenson Button behind him. Close, but not close enough for Jenson. It really all started to go wrong yesterday in qualifying. He didn't get the time he wanted or that his car was capable of. Today he's just been in the wrong place at the wrong time with traffic as well, but nevertheless a dogged drive by Button for third.
Trulli 4th, Alonso 5th. At the moment, the Renault's a minute away from the Ferrari pace. As you said, James, 12 kilometres an hour down on the straights. That's an awful lot of... Somebody runs into you at 12 kilometres per hour, it wouldn't half hurt. And that's just the speed difference between the cars. So Renault then are probably almost going to be relieved at going home with 4th and 5th place. They've not had good speed through the afternoon at all. Michael Schumacher picking his way through the bits and pieces of the bollards at the chicane.
The air horn's waving, Schumacher is waving as well, coming out of the final corner to make it 6 wins from 7 starts in 2004. It's the 4th Ferrari 1-2 of the season. It wasn't always predictable because Takuma Sato certainly gave Barrichello a run for his money, but absolutely no doubt who top dog was here this afternoon. It was Michael Schumacher. There's Barrichello. He came through from 7th on the grid to finish in 2nd place. And there is Jenson Button. He gets his 5th podium of the 2004 season.
So, normal service resumes. The ringmaster rules again. It's a reality check for Ferrari's challengers. We'll be right back with Tony Jardine's verdict, and we'll hear from the drivers as well. And you're back with us at the Toyota Hospitality Centre in the paddock at the Nürburgring. Michael Schumacher enjoyed a magnificent time at home as well. Pole sitter and then P1 at the European Grand Prix. Michael Schumacher, 6 victories, another Ferrari 1-2 here. Button certainly knows his way to the podium by now. Trulli and Alonso keep accumulating those points for Renault. Fisichella goes from 18th on the grid to 6th. Webber's done well to score, Montoya 8th, but really it's been another very comfortable home win.
Another crushing win today, and important to get back on the winner's rostrum.
It's always important. It's maybe specifically important once he ever retired from a race before.
And was this important day also for the team, given the sad news in Italy last weekend?
I think it was great to have this success to dedicate it to the loss of Umberto. And obviously we all shocked about when we heard the news. But I'm pretty sure that if he can see or hear us, he will be very happy with what we do. I mean, he has been a fighter in all respect, and he has always supported us. So I hope we have been able to give something to him.
Michael's race was perfect, and you could see we had a very aggressive strategy, but that was important to get the parade lap right and to get the start right. And I mean, those first few laps are blistering, and then it was just a question of managing the rest of the race.
And the move on Rubens, I guess you knew you had to act quickly with your fresh tyres, didn't you?
Yeah, I had boost button, you know, I've got everything give it go, because I had a fresh brand new tyres, I had a lot of grip, I was totally controlled and never looked up the tyres, I was just turn in. But he seems to be like a bit of a surprise, he didn't see the mirror or whatever. But no.
You don't think it was a slightly over-ambitious move?
No, in this business you have to get on with it. It has to be positive.
Because he saw that he was faster anyway. His tyre would have lasted another couple laps before he would have a drop back. So I'm okay, and I lost some bits of my car, but it didn't cost me a position, so it's nice.
Another podium. Was that a bit of a fortunate one, do you think?
Well, yeah. What do you think? I mean, I was lucky, and Takuma was unlucky, because he drove a great race up until the point where he crashed with Rubens. And no, I think the team did a very good job for him.
I think that you recognise this weekend our performance has generally been a lot stronger than what we've seen in previous races. So that gives us some hope, because there's still a couple of small mods that we can do in this car before the new car, or the updated car runs. So we are optimistic that we'll be challenging for podiums for the end of the year.
At the end of the day, motor racing is about winning. Of course we want to finish, of course we want to get points, but do I really mind whether we're 4th, 5th, 3rd in the championship? To be honest, no. I'm here to win, and to catch up you have to take risk, and you have to push, and you have to take the embarrassment and disappointment that is associated when you have these failures, but they're quickly forgotten when you're back in the winner's circle, and that's where we intend to be as soon as possible.
When I was going around the corner, Panis dived into the inside, you know, over the dip, and he hit my front tire and threw me straight into Ralph.
So not much really that anybody could do about it, just a racing incident?
Yeah, it's just, you know, a hairpin is always going to cause problems in a racing style.
The effort that we've put in the last few races has been the same as what we put in today. We just haven't really had anything to show for it. So it's great for Cosworth, great for Milton Keynes, the work that all the guys have put in. And we've still got some improvements to make, of course. Getting off the line is one of those things, but it's a team effort, and we worked hard on Friday and Saturday, so we've got the points we deserved.
60 points then for Michael Schumacher. Barrichello following him home for the 4th time. Button is still Ferrari's closest challenger, those top 3 replicating the Nürburgring podium. Then the Renaults. Montoya has scored twice as many as his teammate. Plenty of excitement, but nothing for Takuma Sato. It's a ton up for Ferrari. Renault 15 points ahead of VAR in 2nd. Williams a 4th, a big gap to Sauber. Fisichella scoring 3 today. McLaren 101 points behind Ferrari, and Minardi the only team without a point. Let's take a look at what happened early on at the European Grand Prix, Tony. One of the big rules in this sport, you don't run into your teammate.
No, you don't run into your teammate. Takuma Sato made a great start down the inside, but just watch Juan Pablo Montoya, already locked up and trying to turn the wheel, hits his teammate who started from 9th, Ralf Schumacher on the inside. He goes into D'Amata. Look at this, that was Sato just going inside truly there, following Schumacher through, and you can see there the bedlam in front of them as poor D'Amata goes off. And what's happened here is Ralf Schumacher has driven over D'Amata's front wheel, so poor old Cristiano was going nowhere.
At that start, David Coulthard did magnificently well, made up 10 places, I think, and while he was in the race, he had a nice dice with Jenson Button.
Yeah, he did, and Jenson said it'd be great to get out of the confines of Monte Carlo, and some overtaking going on here. The 2 mates who both live in Monte Carlo, and here we are. Jenson Button, who's very quiet in qualifying, only started 5th, round the outside into turn 1, a very difficult downhill turn, as they saw at the start. 2 lines going into there, but defended it well and held the line through there, Jenson.
Lots of McLaren fans out there, lots of Coulthard fans as well, Tony. The pain just goes on and on.
Yeah, they're making no progress at all, unfortunately, with the Mercedes engine at the moment. There's been 5 blow-ups during the races, innumerable blow-ups during qualifying and practice, even one here for poor old Coulthard yesterday. And here we are, the results again, and they're both out of the race. It's difficult for the team to make progress with the McLaren car. They've got this new car coming, but yet David Coulthard, 100% professional. He's still putting maximum effort in, even though it's his last year with the team.
We saw Juan Pablo Montoya, perhaps a bit of a criminal there at the start. Remember in the race here last year, he pulled off the racing manoeuvre of the year over Michael Schumacher. He likes going past people here, doesn't he, Juan Pablo?
Yeah, but he also, 2 years ago, he hit Coulthard at turn 1. But look at this. It is described as the save of the day, a wild ride, but then you've got the puppy dog, Clean, in front of him, fighting for 10th place. This is why Juan Pablo is so exciting. He never gives up. He always fights. Tremendous onboard in-car action as Juan Pablo finally gets his way and gets past young Christian Clean, and lovely dicing going on through the field there. And he got a point at the end of the day, Juan Pablo.
No points for Takuma Sato, and I really feel sorry for him. I felt he deserved a podium at very least.
I don't think we should blame Takuma at all. He was having a go. That's team instruction. David Richards has said, look, we're not here just to make up the points. It's not tactical. We've got to go for positions. He went for it exactly as Alonso went for it at San Marino on Ralf Schumacher. He came in for a nose cone, and then he paid the price because these are temperature sensitive, the Honda engines. He was in the pits a little bit of time. Bang, it went. Poor Takuma out. No points.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get on the podium soon. Those Ferraris, though, they go up there almost automatically. Another great display of Ferrari power here, Tony.
As they say in German, alles in Ordnung, all is in order. They are back in business, and that was Rubens Barrichello looking across. He's saying to Michael Schumacher there, who is going to challenge us? Someone needs to step up to the plate. There is no serious opposition yet to these two.
Well, the next venue for the opposition is the Gilles Villeneuve circuit, Montreal in Canada. We go there in a couple of weeks' time. You can catch the qualifying action 12:15, just after midnight on the Saturday. We go live for the race, though. We're with you from 5 o'clock. The race off at 5:30, highlights at 11:45. Round here, they don't care who wins as long as he's called Schumacher. Ralph went at the first corner. Big brother Michael, though, effortlessly upheld the family honour. Good night.